Morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Good morning,
sir.
sir.
Morning, Ritika. Morning, Apallavi. करें शुरू 2-3 मिनट रुक जाएं. यस. मॉर्निंग मनीबा.
Good morning, sir.
सर 2-3 मिनट वेट कर लेते हैं.
ठीक है. कितने स्टूडेंट्स आ रहे हैं क्लासेस में? मॉर्निंग मोहित.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
बाकी सब्जेक्ट्स की क्लासेस शुरू हो गई होंगी ना? कितने स्टूडेंट्स आ रहे हैं?
सर सब में स्ट्रेंथ कम ही है.
कम ही है. मतलब कम का कोई नंबर? 10, 20, 25. 25 तो खैर कम में नहीं आएगा.
सर 10 to 12
10 to 12
मैक्सिमम.
भी आ रहे हैं. ओके. जो कंपलसरी पेपर है उसमें भी?
यस सर, कंपल्सरी नहीं है.
कौन कौन टीचर्स ले रहे हैं आपकी क्लासेस?
सर किरण मैम, गुरुचरण सर
किरण मैम
एंड
क्या पढ़ा रही हैं?
ऑडिटिंग.
ऑडिटिंग. और गुरचरण सर? जीएसटी.
यस सर.
अच्छा.
एंड सर
और
वरुण गौतम सर हमें इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस पढ़ाएंगे, बट अभी उनकी क्लास स्टार्ट नहीं हुई.
अच्छा. ओके. और
बस सर 4 ही सब्जेक्ट्स हैं. आप पढ़ा रहे हो FY.
नहीं, आपका जीएसटी और ऑडिट तो एक ही पेपर है ना?
नो सर, GST एंड कस्टम लो एक अलग सब्जेक्ट है एंड ऑडिटिंग अलग है.
जीएसटी के साथ कस्टम्स कौन सा है जीएसटी के साथ?
कस्टम लॉज.
कस्टम लॉ. अच्छा. अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा. ये कुछ नया चेंज आया है. अच्छा, आई डिडंट
GST
नो
एंड
दैट.
कस्टम लॉ एंड ऑडिटिंग एंड कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस.
ओके. तो ऑडिटिंग एंड कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस पूरा किरण मैम पढ़ाएंगी हैं?
यस सर.
ओके.
Sir, will you upload all these recorded sessions on YouTube too?
Yes, I will start doing that also, but I will be needing editing because lot of unnecessary stuff also comes in the discussion. So yes, I will be doing it, but I don't know. The introductory class I did not record, so I don't think that would be possible.
Sir,
But in
did
any case,
yesterday you record the class?
see, yesterday, although I joined the class, but I wanted to convey that I will not be taking because there was some teachers association strike. So there was no session as such yesterday. But were other teachers taking classes yesterday?
Sir, Gurucharan sir took.
अच्छा. ओके. बाकियों की नहीं हुई?
नहीं.
ओके 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 ओके. तो
सर आपने
करें.
भी नहीं ली थी कल?
मैंने ज्वाइन किया था, लेकिन यही कन्वे करने के लिए ज्वाइन किया था कि मैं क्लास आज नहीं लूंगा, कुछ एसोसिएशन की
Okay,
स्ट्राइक थी।
sir. Actually, yesterday
But
I went to college. That's why I didn't join.
okay, so you could have met me. I was there.
Oh, I
क्या काम
didn't
था?
know. Sir, actually books issue कराने गई थी.
ओके, हो गई, कार्ड्स बन गए?
Yes, sir.
ओके
Yes,
ओके,
sir.
कौन सी बुक इशू कराई?
Sir, V से है कुछ नेम उसका.
FY की बुक की बात कर रहे हो?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो वनीता त्रिपाठी होगी।
Yes, sir. Maybe.
ओके, कितनी बुक्स आप इशू करा सकते हो एट ए टाइम?
Sir, 4 books.
4 बुक्स। तो करें, शुरू करें। I think now you are 9 of you and it's an optional paper. Anybody who generally comes in the class and is still not there? See, if you recall my discussion in the introductory class, so I mentioned that we are building it onto the paper that we have studied, but it's primarily a paper to understand some of the fundamentals related to investment. Now, generally, this term investment comes from our knowledge of economics. So we talk of income, then we talk of consumption and savings. Now, something which is a saving, if it is deployed for future returns, for long-term returns, so it in a very layman's way, I'm saying, so it becomes investment. Even if you don't deploy for returns, it will still be a kind of investment with zero returns. So in that sense, it remains a decision not to put it into investment. Like you keep the money as a contingency amount, which also comes from, I don't know, how do you distribute between consumption and savings, because it's neither savings nor consumption. It's an idle money that you're keeping. So like those kind of gray areas also come in when we go into the nitty gritty. So we are talking of, deploying our savings. And so it is investment. Now, that may be so. Let me also just share my screen. So that simultaneously I can talk certain other things also, which I would like to show. And like I was talking, investment is there into what we describe as assets. Now, can anybody, define asset? What is an asset in a financial term? I'm also giving a hint. When I use the term financial terms, I'm virtually giving you a hint, as to what do we mean by an asset. What is an asset? What is an asset in financial terms? Okay, if some other definition comes to your mind, you can define that as well. No problem. But I am specifically looking for the understanding of asset in financial terms. What is an asset? Anybody? Anybody would like to take a chance on this?
So, asset is something which will result in cash flow in future.
Very right. Very correct. Right. So it's like a stream of future cash flows. So that's what we are looking at. So what you have today, so let's say you have 100 rupees. that you put in something. So if you don't put in anything, you don't put in a fixed deposit, you don't put it in a share, you don't put it in a mutual fund, you don't buy something, a physical good, then it remains 100 rupee. So there is no question of any future cash flows. But the moment you put it in some investment, fixed deposit or mutual fund or buying of a share, then it will give you some returns in terms of cash flows in future. Let's say it could be dividend. If it is a share that you're talking of, it could be a interest. If you're talking of, let's say, fixed deposit or just basically a savings account, so then also there is some interest that you're earning. And if you put it in a real asset, then possibly the activity that you do with the help of real asset would result into some future cash flows. Let's say you buy a pen. I'm taking a very common example. You buy a pen of 100 rupees. So maybe the writing that you do will be of valuable, and you may get some future cash flows from there. Now, so with this broader understanding of that we are doing investment for returns that we want to get. But then, is this the only purpose? Like we say, it could be real or financial. And let's say I further say about real and financial, that let's say I use two terms. I say equity and security. Okay. Now, there could be equity which is a security, and there could be equity which is not a security. As we understand, equity share capital with reference to, let's say, generally we use this term with reference to companies or corporates. But let's say we are talking of with reference to sole proprietorship or partnership, there also the money invested by the owners would be treated as equity if we extend the meaning of equity in that sense. But if we do not extend the meaning and we are just confining ourselves talking about equity capital in a corporate, so we are talking of maybe a private limited company or a public limited company. So possibly a portion of that capital, depending upon how much portion you are having, will be your equity capital that you would be having. But that equity capital may not necessarily be security. And it is from this angle, let's go back to the idea of investment. That when you are making investment, what is it that you are looking at besides returns? Are you looking at something else? Or are we just looking that we get maximum returns? I think we are looking at many other things also. Can somebody say something on that? Don't look at my screen, because my screen doesn't have that information. It's neither hidden on the left side nor on the right side. Right? So you exert your brain and maybe something comes out of that. See, like one of the first thing that you want to ensure when you are making investment is the safety of investment itself. The moment you start talking of the investment itself, that means your own money itself is not lost. That means you're also, trying to look at the safety. You're also trying to look at the risk that you are undertaking. So this risk that you are undertaking is a very important consideration. So one is the safety of investment. Another is the returns that you get out of that. And then, what kind of risk that you're taking. Is there anything else that one may be concerned when you are making investment? Say you could possibly make an investment in a housing property. You can make investment in some, office space in a commercial complex. You may make investment maybe in mutual fund or equity or bonds or debentures or derivatives, right? Is there anything else which is your concern when you're making investment? Yes. Yes, anybody?
Yes, sir. Before investing, we just look its past performance of any company in which we are investing, and
Okay.
also we see its composition, like how much promoter is there, and many things.
Okay. So why are you looking at all this?
So just to invest in a right security.
Right. So when you're looking at this appropriateness, what is it in your mind? Besides the three things that we have already mentioned: safety of the capital, risk involved, returns that you are getting. Like, right, these are the three things we are already talking. So what is the,
Yes.
what is the other concern besides these three? When you're looking at the promoters, when you're looking at their past performance, uh, or whatever, what is your concern? Is my question. You're right, you must look at all this. But what is your concern?
Security.
Like we talked about safety of capital.
Yes,
Is
sir.
security, you mean something else other than safety of capital, or you mean that only? Or
That
risk,
only,
or
sir.
sorry? So my question is there anything left out? Or you think these three are comprehensive enough? It takes care of everything that we are interested in. See, like I gave an example. Let's say you are investing in a housing property, or you are investing in a, let's say you're putting it in a fixed deposit. Are the two kinds of investments, uh, depending upon your risk profile. uh, See, so whatever decision you take, whether you take a decision of putting some money in property and some money in fixed deposit, uh, are these three, that is safety of capital, risk profile, and the returns, take care of everything, whether it is housing property or it is fixed deposit, or there is some other concern that you may have? See, the point that I'm trying to make is that, see, you are investing some money for which you will get returns in future. And you also want to ensure that this money is available when you need it. That this money is available when you need it. Though it is safe, though it is giving good returns, but is it available when you need? What do you call that?
Liquidity.
Liquidity, right? And therefore, the liquidity of different investments are different. And because liquidity of different investments are different, it is in this context you may differentiate an equity share of a private limited company versus an equity share of a public limited company versus equity share of a public listed company versus house property versus office space. Well, maybe, house property could be a good investment versus maybe gold. Maybe gold is a good investment, but gold is also liquid enough. Any day you can go to the jeweler and sell it. It is like a liquid cash only. Of course, there is some difficulty. We'll come to that part also, with reference to uh, housing property, with reference to gold. But right now we are talking about liquidity as an important concern. So when you are making investment, you are not just concerned about safety of capital, risk involved, returns that you might be getting, but you're also looking at the liquidity index. And so different investments have different liquidity index. And then, so now we come to these 4 important features which are important that you should keep in mind. These are the concerns. You may say these are the objectives, you may say. But then is there anything else left out? Are you still finding something important and is not covered by these 4 factors? Yes, anybody? In fact, I've given enough examples through which you can relate. Like I said, and I'm giving a hint now, see, if you talk of private company versus public listed company, we know private company is never listed. But if I say public company which is unlisted versus public limited company which is listed, or if I say equity in a partnership, equity capital in a partnership versus a share investment in a share capital in a publicly listed company. What is the fundamental difference? What is the fundamental difference? What differentiates? What is the key characteristic which is different in the two? Yes. See, if the let me also, I think I have shared my screen. Let me also show the site, stock exchange site. Maybe you get some hint. Right now, see, I think this example will also help. This is a finance company, Vardhman Holdings Limited. By chance, this is open, so it doesn't matter. Maybe this itself will help. Okay, and it is showing the market depth. So market depth is, there is one quantity in demand. Somebody is willing to buy a one share for 4,246 rupees 75 paise. And there is somebody else, maybe same person, you don't know, because that information is not visible on the screen, is not visible to those who are using. There is somebody who could be the same person, but let's say assume that is a different person, is willing to sell at one share at 4,258 rupees. See, now the price has changed, but doesn't matter. But still, you know, the price is different. Buy price and sell price is different. And there's a good amount of difference. Difference is roughly to the tune of about 37 rupees between buy price and sell price. And therefore, you know, the transaction, maybe some transaction happened. That's how, you know, this change in the market depth has happened. But let me, you know, take a different example. Let's say I talk of Vodafone Idea. See the market depth now. At 15 rupees 10 paisa, investors are willing to buy 1,56,000 shares. And at 10 rupees 15 paisa, investors are willing to sell 1,09,600 something shares, right? Just with a difference of 5 paisa, investors are willing to buy and sell. Okay, and see, so huge quantity is there in the market, and the price difference between buy and sell. See, it's always like that. In fact, in Bombay Stock Exchange, generally the price difference is, in many cases, is only 1 paisa. In this case, somehow it is coming out to be 5 paisa. Let's say I look at Tata Steel. Okay. Okay, there the difference is of about little more. Okay, which I could treat as more liquid. Let's say CKFSL. I don't know. This probably is not currently having any market. See this particular share, Cox and Kings Financial Services Limited. No buyer, no seller. What is this? Like this is about liquidity, definitely, but this is also about something else. This is about liquidity, but this is also about something else. What is that something else that we are talking of? We talked about 4 important features which are important concerns for investors: safety of the capital, risk profile, the liquidity, the returns that you may be getting. So in a way, risk return profile, one can say. And then we are talking of a 5th one, which is what? Or let's say like yesterday I was here about few companies which are not even listed. So sometimes you can even check, you hear about some companies, you hear news about certain companies, and then you check, are those companies listed? And many times you find, those companies are not listed. Like one of the student came to meet me yesterday. He passed out 2 years before, BCom honors, and then for last 2 years he was working in EY, and now he appeared in GMAT and wants to apply in some of the foreign universities for a master's course in finance in universities in UK or US. He was mentioning different such and then he talked. So this company Ernst and Young, when I look at, do I find? I hope I'm writing the spelling correctly. Right. So this Ernst and Young, I find, well, this company is not even listed. Or for example, let me try Samsung. Samsung is a big company, but is not listed in the Indian stock market. I don't find that. Or let's say I try Apple. Apple is not even listed. This is like Apple Credit Corporation, which is like a different company. So what is it that we are talking about? We are talking about, okay, without cutting it short. So we are talking about smaller denomination, right? Tradability. Now this tradability is connected with smaller denomination, and therefore it is connected with liquidity. We are, trying to say that the capital or the financial asset should be divided into smaller denominations. So if it is divided into smaller denominations, it helps in bringing liquidity. But besides it bringing liquidity, there is another factor which brings liquidity, and that is the regular tradability. Now that regular tradability happens only through listing. Simply because a share or a financial asset is of small denomination does not mean that it is regularly tradable, because for that you have to fulfill certain other requirements. So these are the 3 features. Now I am coming to 3 features: small denomination, traded regularly, and it's a financial asset, makes a financial asset a security. An investment which is a financial asset and is of small denomination and is traded regularly makes it a security. So all equity capital is not security, but those companies whose equity capital is listed in the market may make it security if it is traded regularly. So I was showing, some of the companies which are not traded regularly. So this not traded regularly is reflected through market depth, is reflected through the difference between buy price and sell price. Although market is allowing you a 1 paisa difference between buy price and sell price, but still the gap between buy price and sell price is huge. Let's say the gap is of 50 rupees, 35 rupees, or 100 rupees. I can even show an example of, let's say an example like MRF. I think I mentioned in my discussion this company. See, one share of MRF is of 73,800 rupees, and buy price and sell price, right? Presently, like, it is quite liquid. There is not much of a difference. There is a difference of only 74 rupees with such a high denomination. but because the denomination is high. Presently, because of the market price of such share, the denomination is very high. How this denomination has become very high? Because they have been accumulating all the earnings that they got. They have not been distributing much of the dividend. If you look at their earnings, see the earnings of 2021 per share. Now this per share is having a face value of 10 rupees. And last year, they earned roughly about 3,000 rupees per share. And what is the dividend they have distributed? The dividend that they distributed is only how much? Interim dividend 3 rupees, final dividend 94 rupees. So in all about, of course, they have also distributed special dividend. So if you take these three together roughly for last year, so it's about 150 rupees they have distributed per share. But they have earned 3,000 rupees or 2,945 rupees last year. And of this, of course, some of this is coming in this year. It's not exactly last year. If you take the last year data, then maybe we are talking of 3 rupees and 3 rupees and maybe something more, 2 interim, and then there is a maybe final dividend which might have come. So of the 3,000 rupees, they are distributing very little. So where does it go? It gets accumulated, it becomes part of book value. Since it becomes part of book value, it also gets reflected in the market price. So that's how the market price of the share is rising. And therefore, it is losing one of the important feature of investment. What is that? Liquidity. Though like at least for MRF, we cannot say that it is not liquid. Why? Because anytime you can sell it, market is available. And in that sense, it is not illiquid. But definitely you need, more people with that much of money to buy or sell. And that's why the depth is not very good. Like there are just 2 quantity for buy and 2 quantity for sell. 11 quantity for buy and 1 quantity for sell. 1 quantity as, so that's how it is showing. So this is another important feature that becomes important. So with this little introduction on the idea of investment, let's move to this Excel sheet and let's see what does it say. On this Excel sheet, I have written some data, right? And I have written data of a share which is bought in 2011 year end. So I'm taking year end price of 150 rupees. Now that also, you can see this information on the stock exchange. How do you see this information on the stock exchange? You go to, let's say I want to see the 2011 data of MRF. So I write here the date. Since it's a little away, let's say I write 2010 or I write, let's say 2011 itself. And I take December and I started with, so now see 31st December is a Saturday and therefore I'll not get the 31st December price. I'll get 30th December price. So I'll write this 30th December and then I take the current value, which is today, and I say submit. Oh, for a second it showed. Let me just run it again. Okay, let me just take some other data which is easily accessible. Let's say I take 21 data. You can try like this and you will get whatever the time period when this stock was listed, you can get that data. So for 21, let's say I'm taking 31. So 31st December is available for 2021 and current date, and I say submit and I get this value, right? This is for 73 December 2021, 31st December 2021, 73,293. So like that I can get my 2011 data as well, right? So I am taking this as my data. And so when I take this data, let's say I am hypothetically building up my year-end prices for the next 4 years. From 11, I made the investment and then 12, 13, 14 and 15. So that's how I got year-end. So this year-end share price doesn't mean 31st December price, it would mean the last trading day data. Okay. So once I get this data stream and then I calculate my returns. So my returns is the difference between the two prices divided by the base year multiplied by 100. So that's how I'm getting for the first year, my returns are in the negative. And then for the next 3 years, my returns are in the positive. My returns in 2014 is quite high because my year-end prices of 2014 was much higher compared to the year-end prices in the year 2013. Okay, so is this okay? Let me, do I need to recap? Let me just move on to little quickly. So this is how I'm getting my data, let's say for some of the years. Having understood this example, let me take a little more comprehensive example. And here I'm talking of 14 years data. So in this 14 years data, let's say for every year, I'm getting 10% return. Right. So I'm just hypothetically building that, assuming my year 0 investment in a share is 100 rupees. And every year I get 10% returns. So my returns by the end of 14th year would be 300. So my price of the share would become 380 rupees. That's what I'm getting. Okay. And so if I calculate a geometric mean or I calculate an arithmetic mean, there is not much of a difference between the two. I will explain how arithmetic mean is calculated and how, although you must have done it earlier, but because it's a part of my curriculum that you know these concepts, I will be explaining that also as to how you calculate this arithmetic mean. And of course, arithmetic mean generally everybody knows it's like an average, weighted average, but geometric mean is calculated somewhat differently. Like you can see here that in this example, I have multiplied all my returns and then I have taken a root value of this. I have taken a root value of this. I have taken 1/9. I need to check actually. Maybe this 1/9 is, I'm not sure whether it is correct because I've taken it 1/9. I don't know. Should it be 1/9 or should it be 1/14? I suppose. I don't know. There is. We'll come to that. I need to check because I have not checked it actually. So the point I'm making is that there are two different ways of calculating, and there could be a third way also. And I was explaining in the introductory class as well that depending upon the kind of company for which you are evaluating performance in terms of returns, maybe you need to have a different average. Let's just broaden this example now. Now, this is data from 2007 to 2015. Investment is at 150 rupees, and at the end of 2015, the price is 260. So these are my calculations of returns, right, for each of the years. So taking the same example, what? Current year price minus last year price divided by last year price into 100, right? And this one is my average of these returns. And possibly this investment may have some dividend. So I have shown some data about dividend. So this dividend, if I include dividend as my return, which I should include, my returns would be both these components. Appreciation in my share price. In this case, it is actually negative. So let's say I'm talking of appreciation. Let's say this one. So there is a 80 rupees increase and there is also a 3 rupees dividend here. Like if you look at this one, so 3 rupees of dividend, which is included in the calculation of return. Now I further make it more comprehensive, and let's say this is my actually table to calculate my returns. So my first column is year. I'm taking 6-year data. My second column is the share price, 6-year data. Third column is dividend. Fourth column is capital gain, which is the difference of the two prices. Fifth column is the two gains together, dividend plus capital gains. And then I am calculating my returns. Okay. So that's how I am getting these returns. And I've just, listed this information also that, I'll come to this USA, UK, India when I get connected with that context. So this is how the returns are being calculated, and this is your average of the returns. So on an average from this investment, you're getting a return of 14%. But is this a correct calculation? Is my question. Is 14% a correct calculation? That average return is 14.71%. Yes, I'm throwing back the question to my audience. Should I show the screen? Tell me, is this a correct calculation? Do you have any question before you answer this? If you have some clarifying question, you can ask that. Are my calculations okay? Because if my calculations are wrong, all my investment strategies will go wrong. So I must have my calculations correct to begin with. Should I need to devise a better method, or is it a method good enough? Yes, gentlemen, young ladies, boys and girls, tell me. बताइए. कृतिका, वेदवती, मनीबा, कोई बोलो. सुन रहे हो ना सब? समझ आ रहा है ना? समझ तो आ रहा है मेरी बात जो मैं कह रहा हूँ? Like idea is to grasp. So I have thrown a question with an example. So what is your understanding? Where do you stand? Do you have any clarifying question to ask? Do you have a better answer? I'm turning my screen to the student so that I know who is answering. Sir, मुझे example समझ नहीं आया. Ritika is saying, okay. No, but this is like a general comment. No? You ask the clarifying question. See, year information है, शेयर प्राइस है ईयर एंड में. मैंने 100 का खरीदा है 2008 के एंड में. Then by the end of 2009, my share price is 118. By the end of 2010, my share price is 130. I am taking one share, right? Then it becomes 120. Somehow in the year 2011, the share price declined. Then 140, then 160. Also, over these years, I have got some dividend. 6 rupees in first year, 5 rupees in second year, 0 in third year. Of course, there was a decline. Maybe there was a loss. Maybe there was no profit in that year. Or maybe the profit was very, very small. Company did not declare dividend. Then there was a dividend of 10 rupees, then 5 rupees. I've taken, all the components of dividend, but whatever it was, interim, special, regular dividend, whatever it was. But I've taken, a simple one figure for all that. I have added the two components, capital gains. First, I calculated capital gains, the increase in my price of the share. So that's my capital gain. And then the dividend. I've added these two components together. So in all, I've got my gains, 24 rupees in 1 year, first year, 17 rupees in second year, minus 10 third year, 30 in fourth year, 25 in fifth year, like that. What is it that you're not following? And I have calculated my annual returns, and then I have taken an average. Right? This is how I calculated my annual return. Right? This is how I calculated my annual return. And then I have taken an average. Yes, anybody has a better answer? Is this the right answer? That's how we should look at it. And then there is one, see, this is one question. There is another question that I want to ask. That is, there is a very serious limitation of all this discussion that we have done so far with reference to returns. What is that? Let me mention that first. The question that I've thrown to you, you contemplate and give me the answer today itself, not in the next class. नेक्स्ट क्लास में तो पता नहीं ना कौन है कौन नहीं है, वो फिर बच्चे कहते हैं सर मैं तो उस क्लास में नहीं था या नहीं थी, तो वो सारा डिस्कशन तो बेकार ही हो जाता है. तो अभी आज की आज ही बताना है कि आपकी क्या अंडरस्टैंडिंग है. सो दी अदर सीरियस लिमिटेशन इज कि आप इन्वेस्टमेंट कब के लिए कर रहे हो, यू आर मेकिंग द इन्वेस्टमेंट फॉर रिटर्न्स इन फ्यूचर. तो फ्यूचर के बारे में तो ये सब कैलकुलेशन आपके पास अवेलेबल नहीं है ना, तो फ्यूचर का तो कुछ नया मेथड आपको डिवाइस करना ही पड़ेगा. बट मान लीजिए कि ये सब इंफॉर्मेशन फ्यूचर की थी और बिल्कुल 100% करेक्ट थी, ठीक है. तो गिवन दैट केस मैंने अपने रिटर्न्स को इस तरीके से कैलकुलेट किया कि मेरा ऑन एन एवरेज 14.71% एनुअल रिटर्न आया. तो क्या ये कैलकुलेशन ठीक है, क्या ये मेरा मेथड ठीक है, क्या ये मेरा क्राइटेरिया ठीक है, या मुझे कुछ और करना चाहिए? बताओ अनु.
सर इसमें तो हम अजम्पशन ले रहे हैं ना एक तरीके से, जो आपने
नम्र महेश.
एग्जांपल बताया.
यस अनु.
सर अगर ये करेक्ट है तब तो सही है.
अगर ये
बट
करेक्ट है
ये
तो सही है,
मतलब कि जैसे आपने बताया कि ये ड्रॉबैक है, क्योंकि हमारे को फ्यूचर की चीज हमेशा तो गिवन नहीं होगी ना, जैसे इसमें हमारे को गिवन है.
ठीक है.
और आपने कहा कि ये करेक्ट भी है.
हाँ.
हाँ तो
तो
हमने इस
अब जैसे ओके, ये एक आंसर हो गया, ठीक है. कोई और बताएं, बाकी सबका भी यही आंसर है, कुछ अलग है? मनीबा.
सर यही है.
यही है. अच्छा, खुशी.
यस सर.
यही सेम.
हाँ जी.
ओके. साक्षी. शिल्पा. साक्षी पता नहीं कहाँ है. चलो मैं अभी स्क्रीन को तो मैं स्क्रीन शेयरिंग तो मैं बंद कर देता हूँ, बिकॉज आई सो दैट आई एम एबल टू सी एवरीबडी. यस. मोहित. लो, मोहित को पता लग गया कि उसका नाम बुलाने वाले हैं, वो पहले ही गायब हो गया. अच्छा कोई बात नहीं. इम्पॉर्टेंट आंसर इज येट टू कम फ्रॉम माई साइड. देर आर स्टिल 2-3 मिनट्स. एंड अब मान लीजिए, मैं एक हिंट ही दे रहा हूँ कि मान लीजिए आप ये कहो कि आपने 2008 में 100 रुपए की इन्वेस्टमेंट की और 2013 में आपको 160 रुपए मिले, ठीक है. तो अब आपको यदि ये 5 साल का रिटर्न निकालना हो तो कैसे निकालोगे? तो ये एक तरह का हिंट है मेरी तरफ से, ठीक है, कि तब आप इसे कैसे निकालोगे यदि आपको 5 साल का रिटर्न निकालना हो तो. जिसे हम
पहले
एक
1 साल का निकालेंगे.
जिसे हम एक इम्पॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट कहते हैं, हम कहते हैं कि होल्डिंग पीरियड रिटर्न. तो हमें होल्डिंग पीरियड रिटर्न निकालना आना चाहिए. और जब हम होल्डिंग पीरियड रिटर्न निकालेंगे तो वो हमारे पास मोर देन 1 ईयर का आएगा, और फिर हमको उसको एनुअलाइज रिटर्न निकालना पड़ेगा. तो जब हम होल्डिंग पीरियड रिटर्न निकालेंगे और फिर उसमें से एनुअलाइज रिटर्न निकालेंगे तो हमें कहीं ना कहीं पर उसकी कंपाउंडिंग करनी पड़ेगी. तो जब हम उसकी कंपाउंडिंग करेंगे तो मे बी इन सम सेंस वी विल बी यूजिंग ज्योमेट्रिक मीन. So let's understand the difference between arithmetic and geometric mean, and then let's see how it gives a different picture of the returns that we get. What returns we get when we use arithmetic mean, and what return we get when we use geometric mean. And then we will come to that question of, because these are all calculations with reference to future, so what do you do about that? These are not calculations about past. Past is just a guide, and we are looking for our returns in future. So what do we do about that? So with these important questions, maybe I stop today's class. If you have any other thing to say, you may ask. Got a minute. Any suggestion, anything? Okay, so we stop for today.
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.